I actually think this is all a feint. He can't change the laws in the United States, but he certainly does have authority. And the Congress would not have been happy with him, I think, on both sides of the aisle, sort of taking this unilateral action right now before you even got into a negotiation. But I think they knew that. I think this is all... I know it will be counted as a victory for the internationalists, and I think it is, and the economic nationalists lost out. But, if you're in the art of the deal, if you threaten to pull out, and then he talks to the two heads of state, it's a good ploy as far as I'm concerned, actually.
A good ploy, but politically, given the language of the campaign from him and also to a certain extent from Hillary Clinton, it must be seen as something of a victory that this trade deal is not being called toxic anymore. It's being...
Oh, but it is.
But, it's not being seen as something that America is about to leave.
Well, to be fair to Trump, he has said he wanted to renegotiate NAFTA. And what this has done, it's kind of in a much larger sense like the threats in Korea. We will act if you don't. And so what they've done is to lay the gauntlet down and then say, okay, now we're ready to renegotiate. But it's the renegotiation that he was after.
Well, he seems to have got them to the table.
That's right.
He says he's got them to the table. What parts would he want to renegotiate?
They want to end the special treatment that Canada and Mexico have on such things as anti-dumping. They also want a provision that we can put up tariffs and barriers if there's a surge of imports. That's going to be a big deal. I think the Canadians and the Mexicans certainly will oppose that. The other thing is that, again, to be fair to them, if it had been Hillary Clinton or another president, you probably would have at some point had an update of NAFTA. Now, the irony here is that the Trans-Pacific Partnership that he walked away from was actually an update of NAFTA. And so they're going to quietly, I think, incorporate into the updating of NAFTA the kinds of things that they negotiated already with both Canada and Mexico in the TPP, such things as a new e-commerce provisions about data flows or more liberalization of services or dealing with state-owned enterprises, that sort of thing that updated NAFTA, also labor and the environment.
Won't they be seen as hypocritical for pulling out of the TPP and just reimposing it in a different context?
Well, you might say that, I might say that, but they argue that this is part of a larger change in U.S. policy. It's one I disagree with strongly, that they don't want to get involved in regional agreements where they argue you have to make too many concessions to too many different countries. They want to go one-on-one, and they're willing to accept NAFTA, but as the president made clear before, and they would make clear now, that if the negotiations don't really reach some kind of fruition from their perspective positively, they will pull out, and then they will go back to Mexico and Canada individually.